guys, it's Andrea. Welcome back again. So I had a request from someone about doing a short mixing tutorial video on how I mix my paints with this new recipe that I am having so much success with. So I thought maybe I would do this in two parts. First part will be to show you what I use and how I mix like pigments, tube paints for my blooms, my deconstructed blooms. I have to show you guys that I did a set of deconstructed blooms on a 10 by 20 canvas diptych, and I am like I'm in cloud 9 because cloud 11. This is actually the first time that I tilted. I didn't spin whatsoever. I tilted it, and I didn't do a video. I was messing around with a friend, just having a play day painting, and I wished I had done a video. Now it always seems when I don't do a video is when my best pieces come out. But I want to show you guys before we start. Oh, these just came out like beautiful. So, and I embellished them too with some marker pens. I know the camera's not all that, but let me adjust the camera a little bit here. So this is my first one. Turn it sideways maybe. I know the camera's very limited there, but yep, that's the one. And then that one got varnished. This one still has to, but, and here's the other one. And I was looking at this one and I'm like, that looks like a volcano, that looks like an island. So I kind of named these paintings islands in the stream, right? Yep, that's the second one. So I am just thrilled beyond words. And this was all done. If you look right here too, you see the cells. I mean, I got some, and then even on this side here, I'll show you. See that? I'm just, this pouring medium I have that I've made is just, it's killer. I mean, my cells stay together. It's it just works so good for me. So this today is what I'm going to show you. What I'm going to be using is that, and only that. No varnish. The only thing I might need is a little bit of, and this, by the way, you can find it at Lowe's, and it is high gloss. Okay, base C, and it says must be tinted. Some say must be tinted and have white, so make sure you don't get white. So, and when you open a can and you look at it, this is something I learned. I'm going to show you this quickly. Okay, I'm going to dip a little bit my finger here. So, this is what you can do. When you open it and you look and you're like, that's white. I don't want white. Well, untinted base paint, and I know the BEHR looks a little bit more clear. This is how you can tell. So you take it on your finger and you rub it, and if it dries clear, if it rubs and dries clear, and see, it's clear, so that is good stuff. That it's not going to mute your colors, even though your colors may look a little lighter. Trust me, after looking at my paintings, they're like really dark. It always dries darker. So yeah, I was at the hardware store the other day and I found this other deep base, and I rubbed it into my fingers and it was all white chalky. So I said, nope, that's not going to cut it. So I'm sticking with this. So, and I show you this while I'm at it here. So anyway, this is the consistency of this stuff, if you can see it. It's pretty soupy. A friend of mine is using this and she said hers is thicker. So I guess it depends on where you live. But this actually is perfect because once you mix it, you're like, this is thin, right? But trust me, the paint's thicken up as they kind of blend in with it. So, yeah. So anyway, yep, that's a little trick you can learn. If you're ever trying a new untinted base paint, rub it between your fingers and make sure it just dries clear, because the stuff does look like it's going to dry white, but it doesn't. So this is what I use to thin my paints. It is BEHR, can be found at Amazon. Acrylic flow medium. All this is liquid acrylic untinted paint. That's all it is. It's not going to mess with the binders. It's not going to do anything to mess with your paints. This stuff is great to, and it's, look at, it's white too, but it dries clear, so there's no worries on that. So, and so what I'm going to be doing today is I've already got some mixed up. I've got a, what do I have? I have pigments mixed up. I'm still going to mix up one more pigment. And I'm going to mix up a pigment and a tube paint just so you can see how it's done. And I also want to explain to you, when you're mixing your pigments, I know they always say disperse it and varnish in some real thin liquid. You don't have to do that. You can mix it right in with this. Mix it slow, take your time. And it may look a little funny, like grainy, it may look like a little off. Let it sit. Try not to do a painting right when you mix your pigments. You should probably, it would be good to wait till the next day, but at least a couple hours. So I was like, what the heck, this didn't mix very well. So I covered it up and I had to go do something, and I come back, and when I opened the container and I mixed it, I was like, oh, it was beautiful. It was just the way it should look. So when you're mixing them, don't panic, wait, okay? Because I have some I mixed up earlier that I will show you what they look like. I'll show you what it looks like mixed up, just mixed up, and then what it looks like after sitting for a little bit. So my pillow paint. So it's 3 steps: your pillow paint, your colors, and your selector. Yep, and I'm just going to show you quickly my base paint. My pillow is what I use is PPG multipro eggshell. It says pastel base, white and pastel base. This to me is the best pillow I've ever used. It's just nice and thin, but it's not too thin. It just is smooth. It just runs so good. Yeah, I've been through a lot, but this is my go-to, definitely. Oh, all right, so let's get started. I've already got my Valspar. I poured some of that into a smaller container. It's just easier to handle. So I have 2 little containers here, and what we're going to do is we're going to mix up pigments first. A pigment, and I've got 2 containers in it. Okay. Don't mind I cleaned them, but they're a little messy, but they will work. So what I do first, okay, I would advise anybody that's mixing pigments, wear a mask, please. The fine particles, they fly everywhere. These are supposed to be eco-friendly, safe, I still don't want to breathe them in. So speaking of that, this is what I'm going to be using. Lowe pigments. These are absolutely gorgeous pigments. I bought this off of Amazon. This one, it's like $23 for this whole set. And look at I flipped them upside down so you can see the colors better. Look at the colors. They are so shimmery. I've used quite a few of these already, and I love them. Yep, you might want to check it out, Lowe.com. If you go on and you want to order, you can get 10% off your order. And so now we're going to get into it. So I have my pigment here, and this color is French Rose. This is French Rose by Lowe. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour a little bit in my cup, okay? And I don't really measure. I usually fill these cups about halfway, just enough to get me to do a few paintings. Because the bigger you do, the more you're going to need. So, and again, please wear a mask when you do this. Be really careful. One nice thing about this company too, they fill these suckers up to the rim. They're like, that's not. I said, yeah, that's good. That's good. I don't care if it's up to the rim. I'll be extra careful. This is amazing. Look at the color. That's French Rose. Ooh la la, guys, right? So what I do is I have like a baby spoon here, and I just put like a good spoon in and maybe a little bit more. I'm trying not to let it fall over the side. I don't want to waste not one speck. Maybe a little bit more, a little half one, okay? There. Always close it up right after. You just don't want to be breathing in any particles if you can help it, okay? Let me set that aside. All right, so I have my Valspar in here with this, right? So now I'm just going to start mixing and do it real slow. You do not want these things flying all over, breathing it in. Plus, you just want to do it gentle because you want to make sure you get every little bit, okay? Sorry, guys, I got to remember to hold this up to the... Make sure you take your time stirring this. Don't whip it. Don't beat it. Because I'm telling you, the first time I did this, I'm like, oh no, what's going on here? Why does it look like that? And the beautiful thing about this is all my paints here that I've already made up, which I want to show you, I have not even thinned any of them out yet. I usually don't get my paints too super thin to start out with, especially when I started using this, because they don't need to be thickened, but they do thicken up as they sit. And on occasion, I've had to thin one out, but not too often. Okay, so you see that? Isn't that pretty? Isn't that gorgeous? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little more. Don't add all your pouring medium, your Valspar in at once. Just a little bit at a time, guys, okay? And unless you're planning on doing like 10 paintings, you don't need to fill it all the way to the top. It's better to just make new stuff, do a few paintings, and make new stuff. Use it up. Oh, this is just gorgeous. Yeah, I'm going to add just a little more because I'm doing a couple of big canvases again, and 3 blooms on there takes up a lot of paint. So yeah, I'm going to let this sit overnight because I'm going to do my paintings tomorrow, and I just want to make sure that they are definitely mixed in thoroughly. So there you go. That's pretty much done. And you see already how it just looks beautiful already. And it's going to look even nicer. That's the consistency you want. When you drizzle it off the spoon, you see how I make a little ring on there? That should disappear within 3 seconds. If that does, you know you've got the right stuff. It just automatically goes down. It sits on top and then it goes right down. That is perfect. Now this may thicken up, and if it does, you just add a couple drops of the flow medium, and that's all there is to that, okay? All right, so we got that down. All right, let's get that. Now for the 2 paint, of course I have to have my turquoise green by Amsterdam. I love this color. What we're going to do is, again, we're going to pour some in here. This one we can be a little bit more liberal, but with 2 paints, you got to really make sure you mix because it's thick. It's very thick. I add, see, I don't even measure this either. Yeah, about that. Probably about half a tablespoon to start with. You may need more. I don't think I will, though. See, this is pretty rich, this color. And I can definitely stand to add more pouring medium and not lose the color. And look at this. Look at the consistency just from the 2 paint. It's actually a little thin. So I add more pouring medium to this, and it already dissolved. Okay, that's going to be enough. I'm trying to do them about 3/4 of the way up. Yep, and look at this. The consistency, the color is still right on. This is just amazing. You see that? That's the same thing as what I just showed you with the pigments. And I have not had to add any flow medium thinner to this. So there is that. And the same thing would apply for fluid paints. If you have the high flow, that might tend to get a little thinner, but I've used it and I added pouring medium, added some, and I let it sit, and it thickened up. It thickened up just, and if it's still super thin, you can always add like a tiny little pea-sized amount of gel gloss medium, that stuff in the canister that's almost like thick paste. If you're like, oh, it's just not thickening up to where I like it, add a tiny little pea-size of that, okay? And that will thicken it right up, and it won't mess with anything in there as well. So, all right. I always use my fingers for everything. Okay, so there's that. So, those are the 2 colors we made up. So, I'm going to show you some of the colors I made up earlier. We want to see if they need to be thinned out or what's going on with them. So, sorry about the messy hands, guys. Okay, this is my, what is that? This is my Koenig, my quinacridone nickel laser gold by Golden. I just got it in the mail today, the high flow. Perfect example, there's high flow. I used a fluid paint in here, and look at it. After sitting, look at this. This is actually, nope, this is perfect. If it was a tad bit thicker, I might need to thin it, but this is high flow. Look what this stuff does. I have not had to thin 1 paint out. So, there's my Koenig. And then I have, oops, a little klutzy there, aren't I? Okay, this one is by Rolio. It is called Viola. Viola. So, this is my Viola. Again, that kind of funky looking, But even when you did use varnish, it had that, like that thin layer on it when it sat. So here's my viola. Isn't that a beautiful purple? I didn't want too deep of a purple. This is perfect. This consistency is just spot on. There you go. There's that. So, okay, so we got those two. And this was, can't remember the name of it. Blue Heart. This is Blue Heart. Kind of reminds you of Waterfall from TLP as well. Let's see how this is doing as far as needing to be thinned, or let's see this. See? Nope, that's spot on too, guys. Look at that. We are 3, 4, we're 6 for 6. Look at that. Perfect. And look at this. It just, this is what I came back to after 2 hours, so that's awesome. I'm so happy. Okay. So, that being said, just get a little, I'm just going to get one of my tiles that I messed up on before. So, we're going to put a little bit more on here. Watch this, guys. Watch this, guys. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. I'm having fun. Oh, okay, that's Amsterdam Light Rose. This is my jam. Using the black and then the pink on top. Because look at the cells now. Look at them. Look at these cells. Is that not crazy? That's my jam right there. Having the two different colored cell activators. The dark and the light. It makes the cells stand out so much better. This almost kind of looks like a, I don't know, a rose. Getting there. Put another layer on, another layer on. It looked like a blue rose. So, guys, that's it. That's all there is to it. No varnish. One ingredient. Valspar High Gloss. Valspar Ultra High Gloss Base C. That's it. Just straight out of the can in a cup. 2 paints, pigments, you name it. It works. It works. It's, you can't go wrong. But like I said, if you guys are using something different with the normal one that they use, absolutely, whatever works best for you. But this works. This is great. My paintings I showed you, I'm thrilled. So there you have it. And the next video that will come out, and it won't be too long, will be part 2, where we are going to take these paints and do a deconstructed bloom. And I think I have an 11 by 14, but if y'all want to join me and follow, or you want to try this, start smaller. You know, start on an 8 by 10 and get the feel for it and do it. And it's not as hard as you think. And please, guys, leave me a comment if you have any questions or you need help with anything. That's what I'm doing this for. I want you guys to be able to do what I do. You know, do the kind of techniques, get them down and have fun with it, because it's so addictive. When you do it right, it's so much fun. It's fun, and you just stand back and you look at this creation, you're like, oh my God, I did that. Yeah, it's amazing. Guys, check this painting out. Look at that. That's crazy, right? That's so crazy. Yeah, so leave me a comment. Hit the like, share, and the subscribe button, guys. If you like my channel, you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. You'll be notified when I have more videos coming out. I hope this helps. So easy, so unbelievably easy. It's crazy. And no varnish. That's what gets me. Is no varnish and only one untinted base paint. So, guys, it was awesome, and I'm happy to join me. And everything will be in my description box below. Recipe again. If you haven't weren't able to follow through all the way, you just read it back there. I will have it. Read it under there. Okay. Anyway, guys, glad you joined me. Big hugs to all of you. Just keep the love in your heart. Just be peaceable with everybody. Keep it real. That's what it's all about, right? So until I see you guys again, peace out, and I will see you when I see you.